to be here. I'm Susan Williams, the president of the Venango Area Chamber of Commerce, and today our guest for today's town hall is Mary Rodgers, and Mary is the executive director of the Northwestern Pennsylvania chapter of the American Red Cross. Her office is right here in Oil City, and what a valuable organization. They are so responsive to things that happen in our community. They actually show up even when we're doing really fun and good things, but they're always there when crisis hits. So today, Mary's going to help us understand, as businesses and organizations, why it's important to be prepared before a crisis hits. We've all been through a lot in the last year. Some were better prepared than others. But today, she's going to give us a great tool that is provided for free by the American Red Cross. She's going to tell us about the tool, how to use it. And at the end of her presentation, we'll certainly invite any questions through the chat or possibly even a little unmuting depending on time and interest. So Mary, welcome. We are excited. Thank you for sharing the Ready Rating program. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Susan. I'm very excited to be here. Ready Rating is something that I think most people aren't aware of. And in looking into this and working with this program, you may be asking, why does this have anything to do with me, and what interest should I have in this program? Well, 94% of all small business owners believe a disaster could disrupt their business within the next 2 years, and only a third of those people have a business continuity plan. 51% of all Americans, now think of this, 51% of all Americans have had either a 3 or more day delay in like power outages, gas outages, things like that, or have had to evacuate their homes and not been able to communicate with their family members, or have had to administer first aid to another person. That's a pretty large number, I think. And so Ready Rating is really a program that can help you, your organization, your business better prepare for disasters and emergencies in our community. And this first slide, I just want you to, this is actually the website, and it's very user-friendly. I've gone out and done most of the things on it myself. And when I get done with this presentation, if you're still questioning, is this really something I want to be involved in, you can go out and go to this website without joining and look through a lot of these links and get a lot of resources, and it tells you about what it's about, even though I'm going to do that. You can, or maybe you want to refer to someone else. Maybe you're seeing this and you're like, wow, this is really great. My church could really use this, or my brother owns a restaurant. He could really use this. You can send them to the site and they can, basically, you can do your own thing out there. So it's a great resource. Next slide, please. So what is it all about? Ready Rating is it's free online self-paced organizational emergency preparedness program that helps you prepare effectively and recover from disasters and other emergencies. How does it do that? Well, it measures your organization's preparedness level through a series of questions. It also helps your organization create and improve its emergency action plan. Now, I was surprised to learn that OSHA's regs actually say if you have 10 or more employees, you have to have an emergency action plan. So there are a lot of organizations out there that'll fall into this. And this is really for any size organization, big or small. Even if you don't need an emergency action plan, it's a wonderful tool. It also helps you with tools to provide staff knowledge and skills to respond. I can give you an example of that. I work for the American Red Cross, so we're obviously bigger than 10 employees if you look at our national footprint. And we have an emergency action plan in my Oil City office that probably sounds a little silly because I have a very small office, but if there's a fire in that building and nobody knows where everybody's supposed to meet, that's a bad thing. So, if fire starts in the building and we're escaping different directions, We have a plan to meet in front of the PennDOT building right next door because we feel that's a safe enough distance that we'll be safe. And then I know Susie and Dottie got out of the building with me because we're all going to be in the same place. It's those simple things that people don't think about that actually save lives. So this resource provides you with all those tools. It also tracks your progress. And we'll talk more about that when we get into the assessment. It's very easy, it's simple, it's free, and it's very achievable. It walks you through it step by step. So Tessa, if I could have the next slide, please. So the assessments, there are 2 of them, and you can choose based on your needs. So like if Susan was going to do this for the chamber, she has a small footprint. So she could do the ready go short 25 questions part of it. And she could then get a score, and that score is from 1 to 100 based on what your answers to the questions are. So if you go in and you put all your answers in, and it'll ask simple things like, do you have a fire escape plan? Do you have smoke alarms? Do you have fire extinguishers? It's going to ask you that, but it's going to ask you a multitude of other things. So it can get an assessment of where you are. And then it'll give you a dashboard that says, okay, you're at 33%. Well, that's probably not a great score, so you might want to work on that. And it'll give you the next steps to get a better score and improve your score so you're better prepared. It's about building resiliency in our small businesses and our nonprofits. So that really, it's that simple. And the good thing is, if you decide you only want to do the short form, and then a year from now you think, you know, we've got all these other things going on, we might want to look at the bigger form, the 60 question, it'll automatically convert that first part into the bigger form so you don't have to re-answer all those questions. So it's very, very user-friendly. Some of the reasons people want to do this, you know, there's 5 steps to it. You got to commit that you want to improve your preparedness in your organization. You need to have an understanding of what your hazards and impacts, potential impacts will be. One of the steps is to look at not only the facility, but also the equipment. Are you prepared for a response? And that can be simple things. Like I said, do you have fire extinguishers? If it's bigger organization, do you have AEDs? I was in a nonprofit recently that had the emergency tourniquets and things because they're very aware that, you know, unfortunately, we have to look at mass shootings and things. And they have the emergency kit mounted on their wall with their AED, which I was very impressed by because it was in a very small community. But we never know. And those are the kind of things that help us prepare to be ready to help other people as well as our employees. If I could have the next slide. So this is actually my favorite part of this whole thing, because in the next step report, it's going to ask you, you know, you're going to get a, let's say you get a score of 33, and it's going to say, okay, if you do these 3 things, you can improve your score. It's going to walk you right through that. But it also has a wonderful resource center that contains 70 resources. And that is anything you can think of is out there. They have 30 videos on different emergency preparedness presentations done by the experts. Emergency action plan templates, which we're going to talk about in the next slide in more depth. Job description, reports, checklists, sample forms, the presentation decks. So let's say that you want your employees to know about an active shooter training. The resources out there, all you have to do is grab those resources and use them as you want. You know, it may be training, maybe you have a fire safety drill in your office. I mean, seriously, we should be doing that in our businesses as well as we do in our homes. All of those resources are out there for you to use, so you don't have to go looking for those things. You just grab them out of there and do what you need to do. The white papers are research on things. In fact, I was reading one this morning about why there's more power outages for longer periods of time than there used to be. And it's actually a government study, and it has all the, percentages, and anything you'd want to know about that particular topic is out there. Of course, there's been some out there for COVID-19 and what we should be doing, personal protection. All of those things are out there for your use. And a lot of this resource material is available to you just by going to the website. So, if you're looking for something when it comes to preparedness, this is your go-to place to get that. Tessa, if I could have the next slide. So the emergency action plan templates are very easy to use. There's two, just like in the assessment, there's a simple one for people that only need a simple one that will actually address the minimum OSHA requirements. And then there's a more advanced one that you can pull the topics. So basically what you're doing is, this is not okay, the Venango Chamber of Commerce wants to do this, so they might need just certain little things. But if a bigger entity wanted to do it, they're going to need to pull, what's the requirements if I'm a plastics molding manufacturer? I may need to pick 5 other things than somebody else would need. So the joy of this is, it actually, you can go through and pick the modules that you need to build your emergency action plan. And then you can customize it. You just download it and customize it to your particular organization. And basically you're ready to go just by picking what you need for your organization. So it's really very user-friendly. And again, it meets the OSHA requirement. Tessa, if I could have the next slide. So what do you need to do to become a Ready Rating member? Basically, all you need to do is go to readyrating.org. And again, if you want to go look at it and still decide whether this is something you want to do, that's fine. You don't have to register. You can look at the resources that are there. But if you do choose to join, then you can go do your assessment and it'll give you your score. Now, if I have anybody on this that's in a bigger organization, you don't want to have 10 assessments for the same company. So if it's a bigger company, you're going to want to appoint somebody that's going to be in charge of safety management and what's our score, so that they can go back to the boss and say, hey, we don't have enough fire extinguishers, or we have never practiced this. What do you think about training the employees on A, B, and C? So you want to pick someone that can go in and use this the way it should be used. But again, you can do the easy assessment that's only 30 minutes or less. I mean, there's only 25 questions, so and some of them are pretty simple. Smoke alarms, yes, no, Or you can have the bigger assessment if you think that's something you would, want to be part of. And then when you do that, it'll give you the next steps. It'll tell you, there's a safety risk because of this. It'll assess, like, unfortunately in our area, flooding is a big concern. So, it may give you things to do to be better prepared for that. Less than 2 years ago, we had a pretty significant flash flood in our area, and a lot of people were caught off guard. So I started in Venango because of that. I thought, let's talk about this. And it really is to protect your organization, your staff, your clients, and your community. Some of this is about extending it. So if you're on this call and you decide to become a part of Ready Rating, don't be afraid to share that link with your church, other business members that a school. All of those resources are available to them just by going to this. And I always try and make this disclaimer: we are not going to use your info for any other reason, solicitation, none of that. It's all private. We have 13,000 members in Ready Rating right now across the country, every state. So it's out there ready to use in our community. And I want to leave you with this one more statistic. 82% of Americans agree if someone could make it easy for me to be prepared, I'd do it. Here's your chance. By all means, take advantage of what we put out there for businesses. You know, Red Cross, most of the time you hear about us responding to home fires and, you know, things like that. We don't have a lot of business interaction as far as response. This is your opportunity to use something that's completely free to you. So I hope that you spread the word and use it to your best, so that we can become a more resilient community.
Great, Mary, thank you. I promised you I would have questions, so you know I will. And I would invite any of the others that are listening, if you have anything, feel free to put it in the chat or wave if you really want to be unmuted. But in a prior life, I had the responsibility for a large employer for preparing the crisis plan. So I can't tell you how excited I am to know that there's a tool like this that makes it so easy. Is this new? I know that Red Cross has always been in crisis management, but is the Ready Rating tool a new tool?
We've had it for about 3 years now, but we're just now trying to get it really out in the community so that people are aware that it's available.
Great. Well, we're excited to be messengers for you that it is available. In the 3 years that you've seen it, have you had the experience of working with a business that has used it and seen the benefits of them being more ready than they would have been without it?
I have. I think the business I'm thinking of actually was surprised that they thought they were pretty well set in preparedness. And when they took the assessment, they started saying, oh, we didn't think about that. You know, so it really kind of helped guide them into how to be better prepared.
Great. Well, we love to see people being ready. As I think I said at the beginning of the meeting, when we are ready, it makes everyone's life easier. You know, we've been recognizing heroes in the community. The Red Cross is often the hero that shows up, but we also know that recently, with an influx of fires here in our community, our firemen are put in danger's way. So the more we can do to protect those, those people that are providing services in the community, our police, our fire department, our hospitals, the better our community is. It's about protecting our loved ones.
Absolutely.
I just thank you. I'm excited to go through it. I'm going to ask my staff to hold me responsible for us doing this here, because as I think it feels like we have a really easy exit, but sometimes in crisis, everything gets confusing. So I know that we need to do it. We'd be happy to talk with other members about how they're making their way, and maybe we can even report back to you and see how we're doing as a community to make
That
sure
would be awesome.
that we're all doing our Ready Rating. So thank you, Mary. I really appreciate you joining us today. Seeing as there have been no other questions submitted, we'll let you go and enjoy this beautiful day. We'll make sure this recording is out for all of you to share and encourage others to do their Ready Rating. Let's take care of one another. So thanks so much, Mary.
Thank you.